Hello, back with the challenge mode for this week. I meant to post this video earlier, but I wound up experimenting with a lot more builds. And I think I eventually found what has the potential to go the fastest. But I didn't actually get a good run. Still the second fastest, but it's like 20 seconds behind Cohen's time, which, I don't know how he gets those times. Whatever. But I think I can save like 10 seconds. I have no idea how I can save like 20 seconds. I think it would actually be like 25 seconds to be able to match this time. But the start's really standard. Bloom cannon, building towards induration. And then the first shell protocol I'm looking for is assurance. I think I kind of slept on just how good assurance is first for characters that aren't Bloodfang. And it's been quite a while since I played Bloodfang, so it might even be really good first on Bloodfang. But I guess I should talk about the actual challenge this week. It's Tyrannical, so bosses have 50% more health, I believe is the number. They deal 20% more damage. You get the Blood Pact. You can see me ticking down HP and then getting 1 HP back for every enemy you kill. And then Specialist, which is interesting. It doubles the damage of specials. But the way it works with Blood Temple is weird. It basically... It doubles the damage you take from the Blood Temple as well as the damage bonus, so it winds up being like net neutral. As far as the affix interaction with Blood Temple, it basically just makes it so you always have to use 2 stacks of Blood Temple at once. So I'm not using Blood Temple. I'm using Static Field. I think in an absolutely perfect run, Blood Temple might still be faster than Static Field. And I tried a little bit to get a run going like that, but it's too hard. The Carapace and the Corrupted Meteor are kind of like the two big fights you have to get past in a decent amount of time without dying. And that's really difficult to do this week with the Blood Temple, because they have the extra health that you have to burn through. So your Blood Temple buff will just like straight up fall off. Whereas Static Field is, it's just a good special in general. And it's also super efficient for like each charge a special. I would say it's probably the highest like damage per use of any special in the game. So I picked up the Last Resort there, so I'm going to try to take a little bit of damage intentionally. I'm not doing it as aggressively as I probably should be doing it. Like, I'm dodging and stuff. I shouldn't really be dodging. I should just get to low HP and then stay there. But it's a little scary with the Static Field, because you have to be close to the boss to deal the damage to it with the Static Shield or Static Field. So I'm playing a little cautious there, but looking back at it now, I'm playing more cautiously than I need to be and not taking full advantage of the Last Resort. The other good shell protocol for your second one's Eagle Eye. Just plus 50% damage, and then minus 5% for every mob that gets close to you, but on bosses it's basically just a 45% damage buff. And when you're not running Blood Temple, which gives you a gigantic percent damage buff on its own, the 45% damage is like enormous. And it's also a lot safer than the Last Resort, so you don't have to take damage intentionally to get value out of it. And you could also just run something like Lethal Strikes, the 50% crit, or you could run, or sorry, 30% stacks up to 30% crit. You can run Flurry, just like any decent DPS protocol that works well against bosses, I think is what you're looking for in that second slot. And as you continue throughout the run, that's kind of what you want to see too. Like I think in this run I get Eagle Eye 3rd, if I remember right. Yeah, I guess I should talk more about the other builds I used. When I first started grinding out this challenge, I was doing just like the normal Blood Temple, Last Resort, Strike Reflex type of thing that you would do on like a normal speedrun. And it works pretty well. I think the best time I got with that was like a 7:47 somewhere. So like really close, within a couple seconds of this time. But it was really hard and like really inconsistent to get runs like that. And I looked through my splits and I found the Assurance just like straight up saves, like 2 seconds on a normal mob wave. So if you pick it up first, there's like 2 extra mob waves that you get with that. And if you're running a Blood Temple build, I don't think you can really afford to take the Assurance first. I tried doing that a little bit and I just never got a decent run off the ground. The other special I played with a lot was actually Missile Circus. That special that's a lot better than I thought it was. I think I associated with the force weapons, which tend to be pretty bad. So I kind of just never really used the Missile Circus, but it's really strong. It does a lot of damage. And I think it's, I think like the more attack speed you have, the more missiles you get. You can like, they last for a while too because they're homing missiles. So when you go into a wave, you can just hold down your special button and spawn out, like 3 or 4 sets of missiles. And then as soon as the boss spawns, they all lock on and hit the boss. And I got pretty decent times with that too. A couple under 7 minutes, 50 seconds. So, within a few seconds of this run. I guess it's really clear here. You see what I'm doing with the Assurance. I kind of just stand in the middle, let the sparks build up as the mob count approaches what you need to complete the wave. I start running through them to just like burst down all the mobs on the screen as soon as they spawn. So there, I picked up the Chaotic Strike. I don't think Chaotic Strike is actually very good when you're not running Blood Temple to get like a huge % damage buff on it. It doesn't one-shot mobs. And you don't have like... I believe its chance is affected by your crit chance. It's like proc chance is affected by your crit chance. Or it's proc frequency. It's kind of a weird ability. And you don't have just like insane amounts of crit just sitting here in the build I was running here. But it was like the only damage one that showed up there, so I picked it. What I would have liked to see would be like a Lethal Strikes or Flurry. I guess I should talk about I picked Soul River second and then built Fulguration on it. And you'll see that doesn't really pan out. I had a lot of runs right in this time range. And I found without Blood Temple, it's incredibly hard to skip the last boss's second phase. And I'm building the burn resonances on that Soul River, which it also has a burn potency. And then I'm also building Liquefaction on the Annihilator, the starting weapon for Sidewinder, just to try to get enough burn damage. And spoiler alert, once we get there, it's not enough burn damage. I have to do phase 2, so I end up losing, it's like 5 or 6 seconds when you have to do the second phase of that boss. I had other runs where I successfully skipped the second phase without Blood Temple, but it is like really close. So it's like really hard to do consistently without Blood Temple. But I think the thing I liked most about this challenge was just how many incredibly different builds I got that completed it in the same like 5-second period. So there's a lot of different stuff you can run on this. I think it's the combination of the Specialist and the Tyrannical. It just kind of puts the early bosses out of Blood Temple burst range, and it makes the other specials, you know, relatively like twice as good as Blood Temple, since they actually get buffed by the affix, whereas Blood Temple basically just forces you into using 2 stacks at once. Yeah, it was fun to experiment and figure out all the different builds you could do. Looking forward to the next challenge mode. I hope it's one of the ones where something else affects the timer, like Clock Stopper, I enjoyed a lot. I think there's an affix that increases the time every time you take damage, so that'll be a fun one to play with. But we haven't seen that one yet. Yeah. Catch you next week.